I don't know why.
You're making me like this.
I didn't do anything! Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Artemis, and today I am here with a game for you called Hydrangea. Is that how you say it? Let me look it up real quick. Oh, okay. So this is a visual novel. There is a lot of trigger warnings in this novel as well, so I will list them out on the screen for you. And if you are not able to handle it, I will see you in the next video if you do to stay, or I also have some other videos you can check out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I got the flowers. There's no need to be nervous. As I walked up to the 4th floor of my local hospital's East Ward, I was greeted by the sight of a mostly empty hallway. The weight of the flowers in my hands did little to alleviate the knot of nervousness tightening in my stomach. My sweetheart recently fell ill with a rare disease. I have been coming to visit every day since the day of the hospitalization. Hospitals are not fun places. I'm still not used to walking around here. It feels as if I'm invading someone's home. Excuse me, who are you? Are you visiting someone? A nurse, exiting one of the rooms, raised an eyebrow as she spotted me nervously walking around. I took a deep breath, attempting to steady my nerves. Sorry, my name is... okay, my name is Artemis. And I go by she, her. Those are my pronouns. My sweetheart looks like this. Well, I am bi, so I'm going to choose her. And her name is going to be, she looks adorable, okay? These beautiful green eyes. She's going to be, what name? Violet. Violet is going to be her name. Oh, Artemis? Violet is staying at room 402, right over here. With a nod, she gestured towards the room, granting me permission to enter. Okay. This is a really pretty room. I would love to stay in a hospital bed like this. Okay, I wouldn't love it because it's a hospital bed, but you get what I mean. Okay. Entering the room, the stark contrast between the dull tones of the hallway and the vibrant hues within made my smile bloom. The early morning filtered through the curtains, casting a glow upon the surroundings.
Thank you for coming to see me again.
Artemis. Violet greeted me warmly, a smile dancing on her lips as she waved from the comfort of her bed. I really wasn't expecting any voice acting, to be honest. I carefully arranged the small bouquet of hydrangeas, her favorite flower, into the vase beside her bed. Of course. How are you feeling, Violet? Violet forced a weak smile. Her features were looking less pale than the last time I came to visit. The room, adorned with flowers and gifts, exuded a warmth that seemed to be working wonders for her recovery. And if the empty food tray on her lap tells the truth, then Violet has recovered her appetite as well.
Can't stand being in here for a second longer.
Violet lamented with a hint of sadness, casting a disdainful glance at the thin sheets covering her body.
Every day, it's the same thing. Tests and more tests. Experts that come to examine me like I'm some kind of exhibition at a zoo.
Man, that really sucks. As Violet spoke, a sudden fit of coughing seized her, and petals of flowers scattered in the air. The coughing's not gone?
It's okay. Don't worry.
Violet reassured me, wiping away the flower petals that clung to her face. Once again, she summoned a weak smile. I know it'll go away soon. I thought she was gonna say it. Violet has not been able to leave the hospital at all ever since the symptoms first began. By my side, Artemis. It was the only yesterday that the It was the only yesterday that the hospital staff was able to confirm a diagnosis.
I feel like I can do anything.
Violet, I must stay by her side no matter what. Through every exam and medication or procedure until she can leave the hospital and go back to normal life. After all, Artemis.
You love me, don't you?
Of course I do, sweet pea. Of course I do.
I love you too.
Oh, my heart. My heart. It is my fault that she's sick, because I was foolish enough to doubt her, and now she's here, being poked and prodded, suffering through unimaginable pain. It's my fault. I'm sorry, Violet. I'm sorry.
Please, don't be sad.
Dang, what did I do to put her in the hospital like this? But even though I'm an idiot, Violet accepts me and comforts me. Violet is the only one who cannot leave her bed, yet here I am, holding back the tears threatening to spill down my cheeks.
There. It'll be alright.
Violet held my hand close to her chest and patted it softly as she whispered reassurances.
This is a charm my mom would do to me and my sibling when we were anxious.
The fabric of her thin gown clung to her frame, fragile and delicate, as if it might dissolve within the lightest touch. In the midst of this vulnerability, Violet maintained a gentle expression.
It'll be okay.
An endless kind of understanding person like her still gazes at me with such affection. She stroked my hand half a dozen times and then pressed her lips against my palm.
There you go. All your anxieties are fading away. I took it all out.
Oh, darling.
You feel lighter now, don't you?
As soon as she said that, I found myself letting out a breath I did not know I had been holding. The air feels clearer.
See? The charm never fails.
Just being with her is a blessing. The sun's setting. I have to leave or the nurses will kick me out again. Artemis? I want to stay, but I should let her rest. Lean in. Man, who cares if the nurses kick me out? Who cares? I'm staying up until I have to leave. Artemis? I can't leave Violet without a goodbye kiss. Can I kiss you? Violet blushed red like a strawberry, looking everywhere but at me.
Huh?
What if it's contagious? Violet brought her hands up to her face, covering her cheeks and shaking her head back and forth. I don't care.
Please.
You should. It's always been so easy to make Violet blush. She's cute in a way that makes me want to protect her. The desire to take her hands away from her face and share a kiss intensified. Okay, that's alright. If I'm too pushy, Violet will run away, like a deer, a very adorable one. We've been taking things slowly. It's still new, this relationship. Well, why didn't you tell me that? See you, Artemis. Yeah, bye-bye. I approached the door, its hinges creaking softly as it swung open. Turning back one last time, my gaze lingered on Violet, who offered a smile. She waved. Bye-bye. I'll be okay. The medicine is helping tons. Let me know what you learn in class and teach it to me when you come back. Okay? A nod of agreement passed between us, and I mouthed an apology. Bye. To my shame, I didn't believe Violet's claim of the diagnosis at first. The very concept of such a bizarre illness existing outside of the world of fiction sounded bizarre, and even unscientific. Until I heard it from several doctors looking after her with my own ears, I've heard Violet over and over again. The fact swims and swirls around my brain over and over in an endless loop that weights down my shoulders and sends a searing pain down through my chest. It's all my fault. I'm the one who did this to her.
Hey, are you not eating that?
You want my old hamburger? Sure. A voice interrupted my self-reflection, pulling me back to the present. I looked up rapidly at the source of the voice that had called out to me. For a single moment, I thought I was seeing things. My friend's name is... Let's name him... Well, he looks like Violet. I'm gonna guess this is a sibling, so I'm gonna name him Purple. Perp? Let's name him Purple. Actually, no! I'm gonna name him Indigo. That's cooler. Indigo. Hey, Indigo. Yeah, that's so hip. But what I had thought at that half second between where my brain and my eyes managed to connect, of course, it was impossible.
When was was the last time you had a proper meal?
It was not Violet that stood before me, but her sibling. Still wearing their school uniform. I don't understand why they're here. I'm fine, Indigo.
You're driving yourself sick. Please, at least try to eat a little.
No, I'm not sick. Violet is. Violet is sick. Violet is the one who needs help. Do you think Violet would want you to starve yourself? I remained silent. Indigo sat down in front of me, pointing sternly at the messy goop that was the cafeteria's attempts at a portion of mashed potatoes. Indigo has always been like this, ever since I first met them and Violet. But now, their usual behavior infuriated me. Why haven't you visited Violet?
The hamburger is pretty good once you get to the tomatoes. Try it.
Not them avoiding the question. That's crazy. They ignored my question. The person at the reception's desk told me that I'm the only one who comes to see her today.
Right.
The part-time job excuse is not going to work this time. I know very well that today is one of Indigo's free days. What are you doing here? Showing concern for me, yet none at all for their sister. If it were my family, I would not be leaving Violet's side for even a second. There's also their father, who hasn't been here either. It makes no sense.
How much have you researched about the illness?
They asked, finally meeting my eyes. Why do you ask? Do you care at all? We were close, Indigo and I. It was thanks to them that I was able to confess my feelings to Violet, and with their support, we began to go out. But now, looking at them, I feel that our relationship has become one lower than strangers. The days where I considered them my closest friend feel like another lifetime. The anger that simmered within me traveled from my chest to my fingers. Artemis. Did I just slap them? Unable to control myself, I banged both of my hands on the table. I was about to say. Indigo recoiled. The impact sent some of my food spilling out onto the table. I grimaced. It was not my intention to create a scene. I'm not speaking to you until you apologize to Violet. My voice shook. My hands, clenched into my fists, longed to grab and shake Indigo's shoulders until they realized the gravity of the situation. It was a needed, so guttural, so raw. Unable to contain myself, I grabbed their shoulders. Somehow, I held myself back. Okay, I'm gonna save. And I am going to... No, I gotta stay demure. No, fuck demure. Okay, no, we're going all out. I got up and grabbed Indigo's shoulders, forcing them to look straight at me. What are you doing here? Violet and Indigo are family. When we met, they got along just fine. And why are you ignoring Violet? The least you could do is... Are they good? Indigo's shoulders began to shake in my hands. I had never seen them with such an expression on their face, their eyebrows pulled up together, eyes wide, paralyzed to the spot.
Let me go!
Or what? Or what? Taken aback by their unexpected reaction, I immediately let go.
Never do that again.
Or what? I started to say, attempting an apology, but the words caught up in my throat. The lingering anger I felt toward Indigo stifled any attempt to express remorse. Indigo shook their head, breaking eye contact and looking down at the remains of my meal on the table.
Try to eat. You need it.
I'm leaving. Artemis. Indigo's gaze never left my back as I walked away. I ignored it. The building's exit was right nearby, but I made my way towards it. Somehow, my feet, heavy with guilt and regret, brought me to the hospital's exit. I understand now what's really important to me. I understand now. Violet. If I had realized this before, she wouldn't have gotten so ill. Everything else, the trivial concerns that had preoccupied my mind, paled in comparison. It all comes second to her happiness. Come visit. Won't come visit. Come visit. Won't come visit. Today, Violet wasn't finishing a meal like last time. Instead, I spotted her plucking the petals off one of the many flowers she had been gifted. Hey, you really like your fortune-telling charms, huh? I ventured into the room, breaking the cadence of Violet's ritual.
Huh?
Artemis, don't spook me like that. Well, unbeknownst to her, I had already taken the liberty of arranging the new bouquet of hydrangeas in a vase. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Violet carefully set down the flowers, shaking her head. I can't help it. It's the only thing that calms me down. Fortune-telling had always been Violet's chosen way of calming her nerves. She likes it a lot. You told me that they aren't always correct, though. Yes, on the day we started going out, my flower fortune-telling had told me it wouldn't work out. Even if the result is bad, I'll feel calmer because I know what to prepare for.
Yes.
It's not the results I care about. It's more the relief it gives me. The sincerity in her words resonated with me, prompting a soft chuckle. You're prepared for me to not like you back? Yeah. That very morning, I wrote down a script of how I would react, so I wouldn't start crying right away. Cute. Indigo was so annoyed, they had to convince me to leave the script at home and be myself. The mention of Indigo's name made my smile falter. They didn't want to say it out loud, but Violet noticed the change immediately. She leaned in closer. Are you still fighting with Indigo? I didn't want to bring this up. Violet is going through enough already, and I shouldn't rub in how her family doesn't care enough to visit. I guess. I shrugged. Bonk. Did I just get bonked? I got an achievement for it. Get bonked in the head. That's really funny. A gentle impact on my head jolted me, courtesy of Violet, wielding the remains of the flower she had been plucking. Hey! I protested, rubbing the spot where the flower assault had landed.
Jeez.
You can't fight, you're best friends. But they haven't even been using... But they haven't been visiting you. I'm upset, aren't you? Bonk. I laughed at her clumsy attempt to call me out, but Violet wasn't finding it very funny. You need to make it up with Indigo. It's not right that you're still not talking. But, please, Artemis. Please. Okay, I'll talk to them. Dang it, I forgot to save. Let me... I didn't save. It's okay. Fine, for you. When Violet makes her request with those big puppy dog eyes, I can't say no.
We don't know what's going on in their head. And knowing my sibling, they're worried about things they shouldn't be thinking about. When I get out of here, I want things to be just like they were before. Including the three of us hanging out and laughing together like family.
Violet. We were close. I considered them my best friend. That's the truth. What happened? Tell me. Yesterday, I was so angry, the fact didn't move me at all. But now, I understand. I should apologize. I was not nice to them at the cafeteria. Indigo and their father must have their own circumstances. I'm glad you agree. It's thanks to Violet that I can see that now. She's my angel. I can't believe I ever thought otherwise. Do you love me, Artemis? Of course I do.
Yes.
I love you too, so much. This ritual that we do of confirming the love we hold for each other, I believe it is helping Violet's symptoms, steadily getting better with each visit. I can see it from her complexion. The color is returning to her cheeks day by day. That is why I have to keep going, even if I miss out on some sleep or homework or class. That's not as important. Little by little, I'll build back the trust I took away from you. After the heartfelt conversation with Violet, I bid my goodbyes for the moment. No, what's happening? Cough, cough. Why did I start reading it? Why? Hey, are you not eating that? This time I didn't bother to head to the cafeteria. Instead, I found myself following a particularly rowdy group of patients up the emergency stairs to the rooftop. I had no idea this place was accessible after all, or that patients were allowed here. Although decorated with plants and seating furniture, the tall barriers all over the edges of the roofing spoke a story. I chose to not ponder too much on it. The patients heading here were, of course, looking for a place to smoke. I see nothing but smokers up here, patients in hospital gowns and what I assume are their visiting families. Still, I already prefer this place to the cafeteria. No gossiping staff. I can handle the stench. Among the smokers, I spotted... not Indigo. Awkward. Violet's twin, caught red-handed with a lighter in their hands. I approached them with a questioning glance. Really? With your uniform on? I knew they smoked. It was a badly kept secret. Their response came with a nonchalant shrug.
Listen,
We're graduating at the end of the year. It's fine. But smoking in public with our uniform on is just asking for trouble. I wonder how old they are. I'm guessing still high school age. I guess, yeah, probably high school age. I need to say something. Violet, by the way, convinced me to make up with you. Indigo's eyes widened in surprise, and a flicker of sadness appeared on their face.
no?
Violet did? It wasn't something you thought of yourself? Why would I say that? Their reaction was not what I expected. Do you not want to make up with me? No, I don't want to fight with you. I'd like everything to go back to normal. That's what Violet wants too. Something went on between them, and they're not speaking, but they are twins. Indigo scoffed, diverting their gaze away from me and fixating it upon the sky. Despite Sister's severe health issues, Indigo maintained an outward calmness, devoid of any overt anger or profound distress. I've never seen them raise their voice or cry. They're the complete opposite to the sensitive Violet in that way. Violet, who has trouble studying and tearfully asked for help before tests, she's too cute for anyone to get mad at, though. I can send you my notes from class. You missed a lot. Thanks.
I'm worried.
I'm serious, Artemis. You're not doing well on our finals if you don't get it together.
Listen,
You shouldn't let go of everything else in your life to take care of Violet. Indigo cautioned, a furrow forming on their forehead. I'll be fine if you teach me. Indigo has some of the best grades in our entire year. It's rare to not see them with a textbook in hand. A hopeful grin tugged at my lips. A couple study sessions with you and I'll be all good. For the first time since Violet's hospitalization, Indigo smiled. I can't do miracles, bud. Even if I ask real nicely? You can't pull that on me. I grew up with Violet's expert begging techniques. Real nicely? A small grin played on their face. Shut up. They rolled their eyes, smirking. I'm going to come back stronger than ever, with your grades rubbing off on me. I like to think my genius is contagious. Indigo replied, pretending to examine their nails with mock arrogance. Our usual back and forth. For that moment, where we both laughed out loud, it was as if the awkwardness from our previous encounter had dissolved in the air. The only thing missing from this is Violet quietly giggling along next to her sibling. I really, really hope that we'll have a chance to hang out like this, all three of us, for a long time to come. Artemis, answer me something honestly. Yeah? Indigo turned to me.
listen.
Are you sure that you still like Violet that way? Excuse me? The question caught me off guard. I hesitated, my mind racing to articulate a response. I do love her, silly. Our love is real. I forgot to save again! Our love is real. It's mutual. Violet is recovering a little bit more every single day. You know that if you saw her once or twice. I emphasized that last part with the playful jab at Indigo's shoulder. I'm not mad anymore, but I still want them to see Violet. It would be good for both of them. Have you two talked about the breakup since that time? Wait, breakup? Hello? A hushed silence fell over me. Artemis. Indigo uttered my name with a gentle yet firm tone. I haven't. I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper. You should. Talk to Violet about it. Get your feelings about that sorted out. Don't let it linger for too long. Your well-being matters too. I don't think that's a good idea. Violet would get upset again, and it might worsen her symptoms. Conflicting emotions tugged at me. On one hand, the concern for Violet's well-being was paramount. On the other, the undeniable truth was that Indigo cared deeply for Violet and wanted the best for her. Let me save. Okay, I want to know what this breakup is all about, so I'm gonna say it's worth a try. Okay, I'll try. I responded tentatively. Frankly, I wish I had never attempted to break up with Violet at all. It was a mistake. If it were up to me, I'd rather pretend it never happened. But Indigo has a point. Leaving things unsaid is not good for either of us.
Nice.
You will? I don't want to look back on that day. Yeah, I'll try, okay? I will. Every time I think of it, I feel ashamed, upset, guilty.
Yeah.
What did I do? Alright, I'll trust you. It's my fault Violet is sick. I want to try to make it better. Maybe Indigo's advice is what we need. Dude, this is like the third time my character is saying that, but I have no idea, like, what I did to make it so bad. Like, what could I have possibly done to make her go into the hospital like this? Indigo and I spent a quiet time together until we went our separate ways. Okay. I was worried. Okay, as I pushed open the door, a warm smile greeted me. Artemis, you're back. A knot of worry tightened in my stomach. One of my concerns lingered in the back of my mind, the fear that by delving into the past, I might inadvertently stir up the resentment or anger in Violet. The weight of responsibility pressed upon me. Her dad hasn't been coming by, and neither has Indigo. If not for me, Violet could get lonely. Did your friends from the club come by while I was away? Just by looking around this room, my fears are sated.
Yes.
Yeah, the music teacher came too. You just missed them. The get well soon balloons, the presents, and the letters I helped put on the walls, they're all proof that Violet has people by her side. I've been so consumed by guilt, I wasn't able to see that. Violet is very loved by many people. How's the club doing without you? We don't have any performances coming up until the end of the year, so they told me I don't have to worry and should focus on getting better. Violet reassured me, her eyes glancing over a stack of letters that had accumulated during her absence. Among them, one particular letter caught my attention, adorned with a whimsical hand-drawn piano. It's sweet. From what Violet has told me, the orchestra club is tight-knit. Seeming to be thinking the same as me, Violet smiled warmly. At the contest we went to last year, I was shocked at how competitive the other school's clubs were. The club members bickered and argued with each other a lot too. Our club is totally different. Everyone's really nice and chill. Their visits and gifts are proof of that. Violet and I chatted and laughed for some time. Seeing her so chipper and healthy looking, my remaining fears about the conversation we needed to have disappeared quickly. I have to do this. Violet, I wanted to talk to you about something. Yeah? What is it, Artemis? I exhaled a nervous breath. I don't know what Violet's reaction to what I'm about to say will be, but you can tell me anything, Artemis. We have to talk about it. We can't pretend it never happened. I've been thinking that we should talk about what happened that day. I looked into Violet's eyes, hoping to find a hint of understanding. What day? When we were alone back at our classroom. When we talked about breaking up. That was quick. The atmosphere in the room shifted. A moment of silence lingered. And then... No way she's about to die. Oh? Okay! No! I mean, I knew this was gonna happen, but Violet... The sudden onslaught of coughs echoed through the room, each one more intense than the last. As each cough racked Violet's frail form, dozens of delicate flower petals fluttered from her lips. Huh? Violet heaved and beat on her chest, struggling for breath. I feel cold. Her shoulders shook as she held onto the thin bed sheets on the bed. Quickly, the color left her face. Pale, shaking, exactly the way Violet was that day at the classroom. Why is this happening? I thought you were getting better. Frantically, I moved to reach for the call button.
You know why.
I don't know why.
You're making me like this.
I didn't do anything. I just asked you a question. Violet grabbed my shoulder, forcibly pulling me back to the bed. Staring straight into my eyes, she heaved.
Die of this sickness. Last year, about a dozen dropped dead, stuck to tubes and machines in an empty hospital room.
Close to her like this, the flower petals stuck to her mouth and chin were as clear as day. Purple hydrangeas, exactly like the ones I gave to her earlier today. And the previous day. And the previous. Is she eating them or something? Because the ones they loved abandoned them.
The ones they loved didn't care enough to love them back.
I do! That's not true. I care about you. I care about you more than...
The ones they loved had evil, harmful thoughts like that.
There's no way she's blaming me for this.
Why would you break up with me now? Do you want me to?
Not her twisting my words. Sorry, I meant to read. Oh my gosh. I didn't say anything about, that's not what I meant. The Violet song.
You did. You did.
Girl, no.
You said you wanted to break up.
I just asked you a question. I thought back to what I had said moments ago. No, that's not what all I did was ask her how she felt about what happened. You don't love me. It's not funny. Violet's tears broke my heart, and I should never have brought up the subject at all. I love you, please don't cry. I wanted to call out the fact that she misunderstood me, but her tears at the thought that I didn't love her back made me...
Liar! 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 You said you would leave me.
Oh my. No, Violet, I love you. I love you, I love you. If Violet doesn't believe our love is mutual, will her condition get worse? Will she end up like those other people who had this disease? Will she...
My dad hasn't even called. And all my friends are liars.
Liars, but they gave away those presents in the letters. Violet's tear-streaked face turns toward me.
They're lying.
Turns toward me.
They don't even like me.
I wonder why she thinks that.
When I got here, they said it. They said it. I don't even understand me at all. Not like you do. You're the only one who gets me.
The voice actor ate, though. The sound of Violet's anguish filled the room, a heartbreaking wail that cut through the air. I sat by Violet's side, my hand resting on her shoulder. No matter how much I tried to offer words of comfort, she would not stop crying. I reached the point where I found myself about to cry as well. I didn't know what to do. What's going on in here? The door behind us creaked open and someone came in. Violet, sweetie, calm down. The nurse ran to Violet's side. I don't know what... She won't... You've done enough. Please, leave. She gazed at me sternly. I don't want to leave Violet like this, but I don't... Artemis hates me. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. Despite the growing number of hospital staff rushing in to assist, the distress escalated. More nurses and doctors entered the room. The nurse's stern gaze lingered on me, a directive to step back and allow professionals to take charge. Reluctantly, I retreated. Indigo's advice was terrible. What I was doing was perfect. Violet was getting better. We're better off looking after and listening to each other, without anyone getting in between. I was wrong. I'm the only one Violet has. After getting kicked out of the room, I wandered around until I found myself at the hospital's cafeteria. My appetite was non-existent. A heavy weight of guilt settled in my stomach, making even the thought of food unappealing. I walked to the food counter, but didn't pick up a tray. Everything looked bland and it was unappetizing. What are you getting today? Turning, I saw Indigo approaching with a tray in hand. You messed up my relationship! They looked me up and down, frowning. Are you okay? I nodded, but my attempt at reassurance fell flat. Just not hungry, I guess. Dejected and lacking any will or energy to stay in line, I sat down by the usual table. Indigo followed after me, their footsteps echoing softly against the floor. They settled into the seat in front of me, an empty tray still in their hands. Your advice was not helpful. I couldn't hide my annoyance.
What?
Doing what Indigo suggested before was the biggest mistake I could have made. I'll help Violet by doing what I had been doing from the start. Violet was getting better. It's my fault that her health took a turn.
Listen.
You're taking on too much. What are your friends saying about you coming here every single day? I brushed off their concerns with a dismissive wave of my hand. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? My dismissive response triggered a reaction in Indigo, their eyebrows knitting together. No one else needs to be involved. Violet and I are fine by ourselves. I insisted, my voice hollow from resignation. I'm tired. Haven't slept a wink. Forget it. I don't want to talk to Indigo.
I'm worried.
You haven't been coming to class. You're not responding to any of our friends' texts, and you refuse to speak to me. Indigo's eyes search mine for any glimmer of understanding. Don't you see how you're isolating yourself? Please, tell me what happened yesterday. I sighed. Indigo would not let this go until I tell them everything. That's the kind of person they are. Reluctantly, I relented. Fine. I explained to them what happened yesterday. Indigo listened intently, nodding and humming along as I told them every single thing Violet and I said to each other. It's easy for me to remember exactly how it went last night. I kept reliving that moment over and over again, trying to understand where it was that I went wrong. After I was finished, Indigo looked up at me. Without uttering a single word, they shook their head and sighed.
No?
Violet was accusing you of trying to break up with her again. I grimaced. The first time I tried to do that, I actually went to Indigo for help. They helped me come to a decision. But this time, you never said you wanted to break up. No.
Yeah.
She didn't even let you get a word in, right? That's exactly it. Violet cried so much I was afraid of making it worse. It wouldn't have happened if I had kept my mouth shut. If I had just left things the way they were, Violet wouldn't have started coughing like that again. It all started when I had the bright idea of talking about our relationship that day. Everything was fine. Then, again, yesterday, I tried to do the same. Everything was great. Everything. But because of me, she's sick. Again. While watching me mutter to myself, Indigo finally put their tray down. They placed their hands firmly on the table, bringing my attention back to them. Speaking as a third party, it sounds like Violet might have manipulated you back there. Caught off guard, I blinked, once then twice. Confusion etched across my features. I stammered. What? Undeterred by my bewilderment, Indigo continued. That's what it sounds like to me. She talked about how nice and supportive the orchestra club is, but the moment you brought up the subject of a breakup, suddenly they're mean. The way she brought up the possibility of dying and implied it would be your fault sounds like guilting you into staying. But, and most importantly, she accused you of saying things you didn't say. I took a deep breath, biting my lower lips. That's important, Artemis. You know what you did and didn't say. Think about it. Indigo leaned back, their gaze unwavering, awaiting my response. What matters is that Violet's feelings were hurt. You're right, I didn't really imply that I wanted a breakup. Well, that is simply the truth. I didn't. So I'm gonna go with that option. Did it feel like Violet put words in your mouth? Indigo moved their hands away from the table, and for a second I thought they were going to lean in to touch me. They hesitated, instead placing their hands on their lap.
You don't have to carry this burden alone. Friendship means being there for each other, especially in the tough times. You don't have to face this alone. I've got your back.
Hearing such sentimental things, I almost wondered if this was really Indigo who was speaking. They never were one to be honest about their feelings or speak aloud about our friendship and bonds. It was a touching sentiment, especially coming from them. Indigo, but there was still something bothering me. Indigo wants me to share my burdens regarding Violet, but at the same time I know it's upsetting, but I need to know why they don't want to see Violet. I'll learn to keep my mouth shut. This entire time I've been wondering like why they won't go see her. Indigo, can I ask why you don't want to see Violet? Indigo took a moment to collect their thoughts, their gaze momentarily distant. Seeing Violet like that, it's bringing back some difficult memories. For me and my father. Indigo had a family member hospitalized before. You don't want to talk about it. It's tough. That must be it. The reluctance to confront Violet wasn't merely about personal discomfort, but was rooted in a painful past. Stupid people who make their partners cry should think twice before they speak. Indigo will tell me when they want to, not a second earlier. My bad, I wasn't forcing, I was just asking, sorry. I have to see Violet. Indigo tilted their head. You have to or you want to? Gritting my teeth, I realized I had no response to that. Artemis, you came. I stood before Violet, my heart heavy with remorse. Hi, Violet, I'm sorry. My words faltered. Guilt gnawed at my insides. I felt terrible. Guilty. Violet shook her head and reached out to grasp my hands. Let's not talk about it. It's better that we don't talk about yesterday. Nodding in agreement, I struggled to meet Violet's gaze, the weight of my own inadequacies bearing down on me like a heavy object on my shoulders. Right, you're right. All I do is hurt her. I shouldn't talk at all. I got you something. Please, take it. In an attempt to bridge the gap, Violet diverted the conversation with a small gesture of kindness. She reached over to the nightstand next to the bed and showed me a hairpin. Take it with you. Me? But it's yours, isn't it? And it isn't a gift from one of your clubmates, too? It's a thank you for always coming to see me. Plus, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. But, Violet, take it. With a hesitant nod, I accepted the offering, my fingers trembling as I reached out to take the hairpin Violet offered. Oh, and this too. Delving beneath the bedsheets, Violet retrieved some lined paper and handed it to me. What's this? I did some fortune telling this morning, and the flowers told me some really important things. They told me that I should write down my feelings and let you read them. It's a gift. The underlined text is... let's see, it's a gift. Please read it after you leave. Okay. It opens something in a different browser. Can't I read it now? No, it's embarrassing. You can't... I'm reading it. No. Okay, I'll read it to you guys. It says, I hope this letter makes sense because honestly, my mind is in this weird space and I need to get it out. I can't shake this feeling that everything is slipping away, like the ground beneath my feet is turning into quicksand. You're a huge part of my sanity and it feels like I'm on the brink of losing it. The idea of not having you around freaks me out. It's getting harder to distinguish between what's real and what's in my head. Your absence messes with my head, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm unraveling. You're the only one that seems to be keeping me grounded, and the thought of losing that grip terrifies me. Maybe you can make sense of this, because right now I'm not sure I can. Cute. Look, she's so cute. Indigo was overreacting after all. Violet isn't that kind of person. She's too innocent and cute. And it's okay. After what I did to her, I got what I deserve. Okay, I'll read it when I get home. Oops, I already read it. Promise? I squeezed Violet's hands and smiled. Promise. Violet giggled quietly, her gaze dropping shyly to the floor, a soft smile playing at the corners of her lips. A few seconds of comfortable silence went by. I'll be fine staying here with Violet for a long time, just enjoying her company. I'm happy Violet doesn't want to talk about yesterday. It's better this way. Perhaps some things are better left unspoken. Then she let out another giggle.
I don't need anyone else but you.
Girl. Violet moved her hand from mine instead of placing it on my cheek. I recoiled instinctively, but immediately apologized and moved to accept the touch.
The more I think about it, the more I understand. You and I are meant to be. We're fated soulmates.
Oh, okay. Another giggle escaped her lips, and Violet tilted her head, stroking my cheek up and down.
I can't stop thinking about you. You're everything I think about.
Oh.
I won't
Her other hand reached to touch my shoulder.
Dream of you. Every night, I see your face, and it's the only thing that makes my dreams worth having.
Oh. Her hand, cold as ice, reached out to touch my shoulder, sending a shiver down my spine. Violet. Her hands are freezing, colder than they should be. As I thought, yesterday was terrible in her health. The symptoms are returning.
I can't bear to be away from you for even a moment. It feels like an eternity.
Every article and piece I read on this disease said the same thing. I must reciprocate her feelings. That's the only way to get her better. That is a bit much. It genuinely is a bit much. I feel like I don't want to. I genuinely don't want to. Like, I don't want. If you guys are going through something like this is not okay. Okay, this is not okay. This is a lot. But I'm trying to think. I don't even care about what ending I get. It's a bit much. Okay, it's a bit much. I'm gonna end up doing all the endings anyway, probably in another video because this one is kind of getting long. But this is a bit much. It's too much. Too intense. I love her, but not to that level. I can't say that out loud. Violet will cry. Ah, I see. That must be why the symptoms have not ceased. Artemis? It's nothing. I love you, Violet. I love you. Day and night, I think about Violet, how unwell she is, how it's my fault. When I'm not thinking about that or visiting her, I'm reading about her diagnosis. I have to love Violet just like she loves me. Otherwise, she could die. In this hospital, alone, struggling to breathe, coughing up her lungs with no cure in sight.
So happy.
Oh? This is real? This is a real thing? It haunts me, that image. I can't live with that. I observed as Violet took her hands away from me to adjust the arrangement of the hydrangea bouquet, fingers tracing the delicate petals. I love your presence too. Sadly, it was getting late and it started to rain too. I had to go, lest the nurses came to kick me out again. Visiting hours are almost over. There was a fleeting moment of hesitation before Violet nodded, accepting the reality of the situation. Aw, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. You'll come tomorrow, right? And every day? Until I get all better? Of course. If you don't come, I'll be... No, don't get sicker. Please. I'll come. I'll absolutely come, okay? Don't be sad. Violet only has me.
Okay.
I believe you. Violet leaned her head on my shoulder. A contented sigh escaped her lips. Then she looked up at me, her eyes glittering.
Not to mess up this time, sweetie.
Oh, Violet's expectations were a heavy, suffocating blanket. I won't. I exited the hospital alongside other visitors and staff. The afternoon sky stretched overhead, the fading remnants of the day's sunlight casting a golden glow. It's raining. A sudden, sharp realization gripped me, freezing me in my tracks. I stood there, the bustling noise of the surroundings morphing into a distant hum. I fumbled through my pockets, rifling through the contents of my bag. I looked everywhere, but it was not there. No. I forgot to take Violet's letter with me. The letter she specifically wrote for me while sick, that she took the time to write for me. A sense of dread clawed at my chest. Violet will be mad. Violet will be upset at me. Violet will... I can't breathe. Violet will cry and sob, and will say it's my fault because it is my fault. It's my fault she's sick. What do? I can't go back to her room. Even if she did, she could get mad because I forgot it, and that means I don't care for her enough. Everything was all right when I left, but tomorrow it'll be awful again. The surroundings blurred. I couldn't hear anything other than my heartbeat quickening with each spiraling thought. Everything that seemed to be all right moments ago now felt like a prelude to impending disaster. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring my vision. A torrent of racing thoughts surged my mind. I deserve it. I deserve it for messing it up again. Why can't I do anything right? I'm so useless. Every inhale felt inadequate. There's no air. We're outside, but there's no more air for me. I can't breathe. The weight on my chest intensified with a vice-like pressure that made it impossible to draw a full breath. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's suffocating. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe times 20. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Artemis! Artemis, what's wrong? What did Violet do? Indigo emerged into focus, but I can't breathe. Leave me alone. I can't hear them. Deep breaths. You're having... I don't need you! I snapped. I can't breathe. It's only Violet and I. Nobody else can help her. Artemis, wait! I'm terrified of seeing Violet tomorrow, but I have to. Artemis! Are you not listening to me? I am. She changed. Violet keeps changing every single day here. I matter this little to you? You'd rather think about other people rather than hang out with me? Words that cut deep into my soul, the exact ones I'm afraid of hearing. No, you know I love you. You're the only one for me. I'm at a loss for how to comfort Violet. Nothing I do is enough. Nothing I do is right. As the days go by, I feel like I can't say or do anything without asking Violet if I should. Even things completely unrelated to her. I'm just going to turn my phone off. What? Your phone? Why? Her tone growing increasingly agitated. I can see it coming. So we can talk in peace. Oh my god, her facial expressions are scary. Who's messaging you? No one. I have to tiptoe around Violet, constantly second-guessing myself and seeking her approval. I should know when to speak and when to keep my mouth shut. Wrong answer. Stupid, dumb, selfish.
No.
Who's messaging you? The oncoming sound of Violet raising her voice to scream was quickly becoming an everyday noise. Just some friends. I'm not responding, I swear. Show me. Violet, I swear, You don't love me anymore, is that it? You don't love me? You found someone much better than me to chat with, and now you're going to leave me alone in this bed you put me in? You're so evil. You're evil, Artemis. This has nothing to do with that. Why are you so suspicious of me? How can you claim to love me if you don't trust me at all? I can't ask those questions. It only makes her madder. I love you. I'm sorry. You can look at my messages. I relented, my voice barely above a whisper. I just want everything to go back to how it was. I love you too. Turning my phone off was an attempt to carve out a semblance of control. But I couldn't do that without her permission. So in the end, I have no control at all. Violet briefly glanced through my messages. Each passing second felt like an eternity. I shouldn't argue anymore. There's no point. Indigo was taking a smoke by the corner of the rooftop, away from everyone else. The gritty texture of the cinder walls pressed against my back as I leaned my head against them, sitting by Indigo's side. The wisps of smoke curled upwards toward the tip of the cigarette, which then dissipated into the darkness. I had never stopped to look at Indigo like this before. The way they smoke. Why do they do it? The sounds away from us seemed to be even further away. I could only hear the sound of our quiet breathing and the occasional flicker of the lighter as Indigo played with it. The time seemed to stretch infinitely. Finally, as the last traces of smoke dissipated, Indigo broke the silence.
You know where the term gaslighting came from?
Indigo asked, their gaze fixed on the horizon.
It's a term that dates back to a play. You know, Gaslight by Patrick Hamilton.
I didn't know that. I listened to Indigo, but their words sounded far away, hazy, distant.
The manipulator dims the gas lights in the house, but when confronted, they deny any change, making the victim question their own perception of reality.
It's a tactic, a form of psychological manipulation designed to make someone doubt their own sanity. With a heavy sigh, Indigo lowered themselves to sit next to me. Their voice was quiet, almost gentle. People can be adept at gaslighting without even realizing it. I've been irritated lately, a lot. I'm sick of Indigo's implications and talking around the subject. Violet is not gaslighting or manipulating me. We love each other. We fight sometimes, but we always make up. It's burdensome. I'm tired. I'm always tired.
I'm worried.
I know. I've been hearing you talk about it for days. You always make up. You always reconcile and pretend nothing happened. I shifted uncomfortably against the rooftop's gritty surface, my gaze fixed to the floor.
Listen,
That's the third stage of the cycle of abuse. Indigo's response was measured, almost detached, as if they were observing the situation from a distance. Perhaps that's why they refuse to see Violet. Easier to watch than to partake. Indigo keeps using these words, abuse, manipulation, gaslighting, as if they're accurate to Violet and I. They're not. It's not what's going on at all. It's not that simple. Violet is sick. A knot tightened in my stomach. Things just get heated, and then we find a way to make things right again. Indigo regarded me with a steady gaze, their eyes boring into mine with an intensity that made me squirm. But does it really make things right, or does it just create a temporary calm before the storm returns? Look, the cycle goes tension, incident, reconciliation, and calm. I shook my head, unwilling to let Indigo pull me into their made-up story. Don't explain it. I don't need it. I moved to get up. As I pushed myself upright, my muscles protested with aching stiffness. The gritty texture of the rooftop's surface scraped against the palms of my hands. Leave me alone. I turned away from Indigo. I don't want to hear it. I just want everything to go back to how it was before. And it will. Violet just needs to get better. She will. I'll be here tomorrow too, you know. Whatever. I lost track of time. I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. Violet cries and screams at me because I did something wrong again. I apologize and apologize and apologize until I can't breathe. Indigo tries to convince me to eat. I'm not hungry. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. The next day, I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. Violet cries and screams at me because I did something wrong again. I apologize. Indigo speaks about the past. I yearn for it. I tell them about a nightmare I had, where Violet dies in my arms and it's still too late to call for help. I yearn for it. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. The next day, I go to see Violet with a bouquet of hydrangeas. My love isn't strong enough, so her health worsens. My love isn't strong enough, so her health worsens. I'm sorry. Indigo tells me they can't do this anymore. Me neither. There's another phase of reconciliation, you know. They try to make amends, apologies, promises to change, or gestures like giving presents. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. I love you. I love you too. The next day, I go to see Violet with a bouquet of hydrangeas. You didn't say you loved me yesterday. I didn't? Oh. I'm sorry. I don't know if Violet is right or not. She must be. No, I did! I'm always in the wrong. It's my fault. Indigo speaks as if they know everything about everything. Tension is the first stage. It's the buildup of stress and unease, the feeling that something is about to go wrong. Next is the incident. This is when things boil over. It could be an argument, a confrontation, or any form of leave me alone. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. I love you. I love you too. I said it this time. I should say it twice from now on so I never forget again. I go to see Violet with a bouquet of hydrangeas. Violet cries and screams at me because I did something wrong again. I apologize and apologize and apologize until I can't breathe. The fact that I have to read this over and over is making me feel the burden of the situation. That's how I'm getting tired just from reading this. I can't imagine what the person is going through, and I can't imagine going through this in like a real life situation. I was close to it, but luckily I got out of it before anything got worse. But I can't imagine for people who has actually been in this kind of cycle. It's like, this is too much. Indigo tries to convince me to eat. I'm not hungry. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We are good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. The next day, I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. Violet cries and screams at me because I did something wrong again. I apologize. I'm going to keep this in the video because I want you guys to understand like how tiring it is to like go through the same cycle over and over and over again. You know, if you're going through something like this, I promise you, you have free will, okay? And you are not this person, okay? You're not tied to them. You can escape, okay? I know it's really hard. I know. Trust me, I know. But trust me, you are able to make your own decisions. Indigo speaks about the past. I yearn for it. I tell them about a nightmare I had, where Violet dies in my arms and it's too late to call for help. I yearn for it. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. The next day, I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. My love isn't strong enough, so her health worsens. I'm sorry. Indigo tells me they can't do this anymore. Me neither. There's the phase of reconciliation, you know. They try to make amends, apologies, promises to change, or gestures like giving presents. Go away. Violet gives me another gift. We are good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. I love you. I love you too. The next day, I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. You didn't say you loved me yesterday. I didn't? Oh. I'm sorry. I don't know if Violet is right or not. She must be. I'm always in the wrong. It's my fault. Indigo speaks as if they know everything about everything. Tension is the first stage. It's the buildup of stress and unease, the feeling that something's about to go wrong. Next is the incident. This is when things boil over. It could be an argument, a confrontation, or any form of leave me alone. Violet gives me another gift. We're good now. Things are back to normal. We love each other. I love you. I love you too. I said it this time. I should say it twice from now on, so I never forget again. I think of running off. Somewhere far, far away. A place where Violet doesn't exist. Nobody knows me there. For that moment, I'm happy. The next day, I go to see Violet with the bouquet of hydrangeas. Because I had such awful, selfish thoughts yesterday, she cough up petals and cry. I'm at fault. Is this like a real condition? I'm at fault. Indigo is not here. It's no surprise. Coming here every day for me, I'm not worth it. I can't do anything right. Useless. The next day, my legs took me to the East Wing's 4th floor hallway once more. Everything I did was on autopilot. Artemis. I was not planning on talking to Indigo. I was not planning on talking to anyone except Violet. I wanted to be left alone. Can we talk? But Indigo has been good to me. They've heard me out, day after day. Even when I yelled at them to go away, I pushed them away, over and over. For some reason, they stayed. For some reason, they haven't given up on me like everyone else has. Sure, we can talk. Yesterday, you told me about the nightmare you had. Ah, that was yesterday? It feels like a month ago. A month ago feels like a week ago. I don't know where in time I am.
I'm worried.
You're scared that Violet would die because of you. That's why you're driving yourself sick. Yeah, but I'm fine. I'm okay. I assume you write about the treatments for the disease? That's all I do when I'm not here.
Oh,
Then you know about the surgeries and the transplants, and how they've been successful. Patients with Violet's disease have gone through successful lung surgeries. It's true, I read about it. And I read about it some more. The risks are too big. What if they don't work? If something goes wrong, Violet could die. Lung surgeries have so many risks. Infections, bleeding, air leaks, damage to the lungs, the blood vessels, the nerves, even the heart. If Violet dies, it'll be my fault because I made her sick. Not to mention post-operative complications. Some people don't ever wake up from anesthesia, and Indigo looked deep into my eyes as I blabbered on.
stop it.
Artemis. I paused to breathe, and they put a hand on my shoulder. Do you really believe that, or is that what Violet told you? If we were really you from 3 months ago, would you believe the things you're saying? I don't know. The kind of person I was 3 months ago. 6 months, a year. Violet and the disease and how to make it better are the only things in my mind all day, every single day. I don't know. The Artemis I was friends with was asked Violet to get the surgery. Because you always want the best for your friends. That's the kind of person you are. How did you forget that, Artemis? Indigo's words were like a slap to my face. Your relationship with Violet is bringing out the worst from you both. I've watched you become lethargic, anxious, depressed.
Isolated yourself from everyone who loves you. You stopped doing the things you enjoy. Please, think about it. A healthy relationship would not do this to you.
I let Indigo's words sink in. A healthy relationship. I know what that is supposed to look like. My parents have one. My friends too. I've seen them in books, movies, cartoons. I know what it is. It's because speechless, I try to find a way to explain myself. But Indigo stopped me, shaking their head as if they knew what was going on through my mind. Since when have I been this anxious? Doubting every little thing, thinking of the what ifs and despairing over them? There's a few articles I'd like you to read. I'll send them to you. Take a look. I can't. What? Violet has my phone. For the moment the words left my mouth, I noticed something that was supposed to be obvious. What? Why? My response was quiet, barely hearable. The realization embarrassed me. Because Violet needs to check my messages to see if I'm cheating on her. Something so simple. Violet has my phone. My freaking phone. I've watched movies where this exact things happen, and I've laughed or gotten frustrated at the characters that let it happen. I've read books where the love-struck protagonists stay with partners who steal their phones or constantly accuse them of cheating. It's me. It's so obvious, so stupid. Check the links I sent you when you get home then. And then I have some books you could borrow as well. Do you want them? I'm the idiotic protagonist who can't see the truth right before them. What the hell am I doing? Seriously, how did I let Violet do this? It's not normal. It's not something you do to a partner. Thank you, Indigo. You helped me already. So you're going home and resting and having a decent meal? No. There's something else I need to do first. I need to talk to Violet. Yep. I'm angry at myself for being so blind, and at Violet for doing this to me. Artemis? I'll go rest, I promise. Sorry, Indigo. It's my turn to lie. Alright, call me when you send me an email or something when you get home. Of course. A myriad of memories returned to me then. I headed to room 402. Break up? Yes. I'm sorry, Violet, but I don't think this will work out. But why? My flower said we're meant to be. This can't be true. No. I had seen the signs slowly popping up as we spent time together. For now, I'd like to take a break from a romantic relationship with you. A break? You know, that's not a thing. At first, Violet was sweet, kind, funny. I had fun being with her. We could still be friends. I don't want to lose the bond we have. But dating Violet was not what I expected it to be. It was her cuteness that I was attracted to. Her kind, sweet personality. But I didn't really know her. I noticed not nearly as much as I knew Indigo. Frankly, being with Violet was becoming a chore, an exhausting one. It was becoming too much for me to handle. I found myself no longer looking forward to talking or being near her as sweethearts. Planning dates or going out of my way to walk her home was not something I enjoyed anymore. How could you? The attraction I had towards her was superficial. By talking with Indigo about it, I realized that I wanted was for the three of us to go back to how we were before. Violet, listen to me. I thought if we hit pause in what was going on between us, we could take some time to rethink what we wanted. I just want my friend back. Oh my gosh. Then it happened. Violet, what's going on? Are you okay? Violet began to cough aggressively. Strange things, I couldn't take a good look. strange things I couldn't take a good look at left her mouth as she heaved. I didn't understand back then what it meant. The disease, its symptoms, and the cause. Certainly, that day, what Violet understood was that I didn't love her anymore. That's how we ended up here. That's how I lost sight of what's important to me. Pushing open the door, I entered Violet's hospital room. Artemis, you're back! Not wasting a single moment more, I knew I had to say it now. We need to talk. Violet's eyes met mine, a mixture of surprise and curiosity flickering in her gaze.
What?
Talk? About what? I took a deep breath. About us, our relationship.
No.
Again with this? If I let her, she won't let me get a word. It's not working, Violet, and we can't keep pretending everything's okay. Violet shifted uncomfortably in the bed, shaking her head. You...
Do you want me to die? No, you're killing me if you do this.
I looked it up, Violet. There are some treatments that you could take part of. They're experimental, but they have good results. There are people with your illness who are living full lives and don't have to stay in hospitals. There's a surgery, too, for the lungs. It's experimental, but it works. Even if we break up or if something happens to me, you don't have to die, Violet. No, no, no. Violet coughed again and again. With a gasp, she managed to speak. No, no, no. How could you say that? Surgery? The one that could remove all of my emotions, too? What? That's just a rumor. There's no cases where...
Liar, 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 liar! You want me to suffer, don't you? All this time, you secretly hated me, haven't you? You want me to die? You do!
Every fiber of my being wanted to scream. No, no, no. That's not it at all. But I recalled the articles I read and what Indigo taught me. It doesn't matter what I say. She's going to twist it and find another way to make me out to be the bad guy. I don't want you to die, Violet. I want you to be okay. But I need to be okay too, and I'm not. Don't you see? I haven't been sleeping, talking to my friends, or even eating well. No, 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 no. Violet reached over to one of the nightstands. I clenched my fist and gritted my teeth in frustration. We're not over. We're not breaking up. My words mean nothing to her, don't they? That's not only your decision to... Violet? No.
We're not breaking up.
Oh? I gasped at the sight before me.
Or I'll die.
Violet held a small knife to her neck.
Right here. Right now.
No, no, Violet, please. Guilt. Panic.
You're so mean to me. Calling me all those things. Making up lies about me. You've made me so sad. I want to die. I want to die so badly.
Y'all, I'm in shock.
In the hospital. You made me so sick. I can't get out of bed. I can't breathe. I can't play the piano. I'm stuck in this room. I have no one else but you. If anything, you're the abusive one.
Not her flipping it on me. Again.
You're the one who ruined my life.
What is this? I'm the bad guy. Because I made Violet go this far? Make her drop the knife. Make her stop. How? If Violet dies because of me, I don't know what to do with myself. Being responsible for someone's death is something I'll stay with you. I will. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I don't know anything. I can't think of anything. Just please drop the knife, okay? Give it to me. I love you. What am I without Violet? What kind of person was I before we started dating?
You said you want to break up.
I'm sorry. No, I don't want to break up. We'll stay together forever.
If you love me, then say sorry.
I just did. I just did.
For saying I'm evil. For saying I'm the villain. That it's my fault you're unwell.
Did I say that? Was I lying? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I just want Violet to drop the knife. I just want this to be over. I'm sorry for lying and for implying. I'm sorry for saying you're evil. Please forgive me. I don't want you to die. I love you. I love you. Words as heavy as air, as meaningful as a passing wind. I love you, Violet. Don't die. Please, please, please. Violet eventually gave me the knife. By the time she calmed down, we were both sobbing. My head hurt. My eyes ached. I'm a terrible person. From that day on, Violet continued to get better, then worse, then better. There seemed to be no end to it. Over and over, the cycle started up again. In my head, I knew it was wrong. I knew that Indigo had a point. I knew that this isn't a healthy relationship. But whenever I showed my doubts, Violet would do it again. Again, again, again. We'd start from scratch the next day, then continue where we left off. If I don't love her back, she would die. If not from the disease,
Loves me. Wow, that's 6 times in a row. We really are fated soulmates.
oh, hell no.
We'll never be apart. Right, sweetie? Did you not hear me?
Oh,
Say that you love me. Say it. Say it.
right. What day is it? What was the last time I spoke to anyone else? I don't know.
Say it. I love you. I love you. Say it. Or I could die. Do you want that to happen?
No. I love you, Violet. Yay, I'm so happy. I love you too. Indigo, they might have given up on me, but it's okay. I've given up over myself too. Hover over the text and... Wait. What? It didn't open anything else. I don't think. Oh no, it did. Alright guys, it says, "This is love. The love I've been searching for. I found it. I'm happy that I can even be loved. Someone like me who's a bad child. Stay with me." Ending 2. So that was a really long video. I'm probably going to cut some of it out because some of it I feel like was a little unnecessary. I really like the story actually. And yeah, those trigger warnings are definitely going to be at the beginning of the video because this game is heavy, really heavy. It was kind of hard to read at some point. It has a nice story, that's for sure, and the art is gorgeous. So yes, I am going to do the remaining endings in another video because this one is way too long. But yes, so I am Artemis and I am shooting an arrow through your heart and I am logging out. Bye bye.